All right, welcome to today's community conversation. My name is Sean Hurley, and I'll be your community host. We are joined by I don't even know how to describe you, Danya. The talented, just the amazing Danya Tabor Hansen, speaking about curtain walls in Revit. Next slide, please. Just a quick overview, community conversations. These are virtual meetups featuring expert speakers across the Autodesk community. The sessions range from deep dives, tips and tricks. Oh boy.
I am not.
That's okay. It's okay. It's the first one of the year, right?
I know.
Yeah. Industry insights, product, all kinds of different things, career stories, panel discussions, all experience levels are welcome. You can submit your own on the get involved on the community conversations page. Next, please. This is the fun lawyers one. It simply says if we say anything forward leading or future or things that don't exist now, that you don't make any purchasing decisions except for on products as they are shipping today. So next, please. And this is where I'm going to have to make up stuff. We got a new slide. It'll be coming for this one. The lines are muted, as Derek noticed. Also, we can't share cameras. That's the only thing with the webinar mode that I don't like. We can't see everybody's face, but we also could have more people attend. If during the event, because they are a conversation, that you'd like to use your audio or share your screen, please raise your hand using the Zoom function and let me know. And we can do that. So we can enable you to talk. But otherwise, you can use the chat to just talk, or if you have a question related to the session, I would encourage you to use the Q&A, the questions and answers, and that way we can track questions that have been asked as well as answered and keep a record of them for the future. So we could, when we post the record of an event, we can say these are the questions that were asked, and it's just kind of easier tracking along with those. The sessions will be recorded, and a link to the recording will be posted on the event page where you're registered. So by tomorrow, it'll be up there for anybody you want to share the link with that didn't get a chance to attend it, or share it with your user groups or your colleagues. Next, please. All right. I'm Sean Hurley. I'm an Autodesk Community Engagement Manager. I am a geeky technologist located in today. I've got what I would have expected it to be Danya's weather. I've got sunny, warm weather. Had like 56 degrees yesterday, and I was walking around in shorts. Normally it would be snow. There's snow about 5 miles away from me, but and apparently with Danya. So over to you, Danya.
Okay. My name is Danya Tabor Hansen. I am the Senior CAD BIM Analyst at Nelson Worldwide, which basically means I do Revit CSI, Revit Forensics. I am an Autodesk Expert Elite, and I am out of the Knoxville area. And I've been doing Revit forever, seems like. And it is, when I looked at it, I'm like, well, that's what the architectural software is supposed to be. So I really do enjoy it. This session is on curtain walls, and this is one that had been requested. And I think David Koch requested it. So, but it's one that was requested. I often ask if there are things that you would like to cover. And so the next several sessions are things that have been requested. We're going to be coming up on some that, and at the end of the list, I'll show you what's coming up next 2 months or 3. But today on curtain walls, we're going to look at basic instance and types. We're going to look at the hierarchy of curtain walls. We're going to discuss the makeup of curtain walls with the grids, the mullions, the panels. We're going to talk about embedding them into another wall, and then we're going to get into the fun stuff. I've got 10 or 11 examples of curtain walls that we are going to play around with. So hopefully you're going to find some hints and hacks in here that you're going to latch onto. Go, I didn't know you could do that. And then we'll be playing around with the various types and stuff, because that's when I think it's really going to get interesting. So the basic instances and types of curtain walls. Well, first of all, you have a curtain wall. It usually has a framing system. It's usually supported by a floor. Traditionally, it's used for windows and commercial facades. It comes in as glass only, or I should say a panel only. So let's look at my curtain wall. And this is the curtain wall. This is my basic file that we're playing with. This is a curtain wall. When you do a curtain wall, it will come in curtain wall 1, and it's just one big panel, like a big sheet of glass that you can just play with. So it's ready for you to start adding your grids and mullions and panels and stuff too. It's ready for you to customize. The next type is your exterior glazing. These are usually cable or support or suspended support structures that can use a tension cable system against the structural framing. These are the ones that are exterior of the buildings. They're referred to as frameless, bolted, or spider glazing. They come in with the glass and the grids. They come in with panels and the grids already in there. So the one out of the box, you do exterior glazing, and you're going to find this comes in. So it already has the divisions of the grids and already has panels built into it when it comes in. Next, exterior glazing is not a type for embedding into another wall. Typically, it is going to be outside of the basic, that is going to be the wall itself. It's going to be held onto by the structural framing. It's not one that would be embedded into another wall, such as a storefront might be. And speaking of storefront, it is usually a non-load bearing. Typical serves as a business entrance or with commercial windows. It does come in with the glass, with the grids and the mullions. So we'll take a look at that little rascal right here. And I will be using it a lot, this example a lot, for showing you how to manipulate some of the curtain walls and stuff. So those are your 3 curtain wall types. So it would be, if you go to architecture, let's go to floor plan before it blows up on me. You go get a wall. And these are the 3 types. I have created a second type in here by duplicating the storefront. So we're going to look at that when adjusted mullion size when we talk about that. But these are the typical 3 that you start with. And now you understand a little bit more about the curtain wall versus the exterior glazing versus the storefront. And maybe it gives you a better understanding of when you should use each one. So that you know the way that they were designed to be used. Okay. So those are your basics. I'm seeing no questions yet. Okay. So the curtain wall has a hierarchy of how it's going to be, how it's used. The curtain wall itself acts as a parent for all the other items. And let me just throw this out there. As a parent, you can't go in and demolish a child. You can't go in and demolish a panel in a curtain wall and leave. You're cracking up. So yeah, as a parent, you can't go demolish my child. You can't go demolish the panel or mullions inside of the curtain wall. You can't demolish them. So they maintain whatever their parent is. And if you're doing phasing, they maintain whatever their parent is. Don't demolish the children. Your curtain grids would be the next in the hierarchy. They go in and they control the divisions. They must be in place for panels and mullions. So if you don't have grids, you're not going to have, you'll have one panel and you won't have any, you can put mullions around the edge. That's it. The mullions are constrained to the curtain grids. So you can't move the mullions, you got to move the grids. The curtain panels shapes are defined by the curtain grids. So each of the panels will be defined by the outline of the grids and how you've got them in there. And note, if you want to go into the individual pieces, you do have to use the tab to get in there to cycle through each one of the pieces, the mullions or the panels. You do use, we're used to tabbing. If you've been in Revit, you're used to tabbing to get through things. So I'm going to just go over here to my storefront and see if I want to pick the panel. I may have to come in here and tab and tab and tab, and there, I got a panel. All right. The grids. You pick along the edge to place a grid, and you do have ways of picking. You can do all segments, or you can just do one segment, all except pick. And if anybody can get that one to work, I can get it to work. I've tried. I can't get it to work. So I'm gonna show you what we can do with that. And I'll try it again and see if it works. But I'll tell you right now, I haven't got it to work. So I'm going to go to the curtain wall view because it doesn't have any grids on it where the storefront did. And under architecture tab, I'm going to pick up the curtain grid, and I can do the all segments. So it would say, well, all segments would work here. But see, when I start getting some others in here, then I could do one segment and maybe just pick up here, or maybe pick down here. You can pick different places. But when it comes to all except, I'm like, okay, all except this one. I think I figured it out. I have to click it twice. So you can put your grids in however you want. You can put them in, you can dimension to them, you can space them out. But they're going to be what your mullions go on, and they're going to be what your panels are defined by, the shapes of them. When it comes to grids, there was no right click options, because I'm going to show you right click options, and I'm going to show you when there's some contextual menu options. There was no right click on it, but there are contextual menu when they're selected. Pop back over here to Revit, and if you select a grid, then you do have where you can add and remove segments. So if I pick on this one and want to say add and remove, and if I pick here and here, it now puts those segments in there with that one. If I pick on this one, I can just delete him also. But you do, when you pick on grids, you do have a contextual menu option come up when you're editing them. You can set your grid justification for vertical and horizontal grids in the instant parameters. You can set them for beginning, end, and center. This is what would show up when you do that. Let me pop over and get that storefront for that. So here we've got, if we select the curtain wall, and if I said start the vertical, the beginning, maybe I change that to center. Yep, doesn't do a thing for me because it's probably already centered up enough. So if I make this a little smaller, and now it's set to the end, now I'm going to come back in here and change that to center it. It's taking this, it's centering the spaces as they were defined. And it's giving my gaps on the ends because it's centering, and like whatever's left over, put on the, divided out there. I could put it to the beginning, or I could put it to the end. So you see how it's adjusting your segments, and you can do the same thing on the horizontal by saying, let's center that. So it's centering the spacings and giving me the extra on either end and dividing it up. And if I told it also to go to the end, it put it down here at the bottom. Your beginning and end depend on which direction your storefront was drawn. So I'm going to go into my plan view here. And because I was doing my elevations from what we consider Project South here, I drew all of my walls from the right to the left. It's a rule of thumb with walls that if you want the outside of the wall to be to the outside, if you want to draw it, you can either go through and flip it. But if you draw a wall, you draw in a in a clockwise motion to keep the outside where you want it. Not as easy to see with this. Let me go get this wall. This one is the brick fascia. So if I come up here, I'm gonna do this over to the side. So I can come up here and I can draw around this way and like this and like this. And just to give you an idea, let's flip to a 3D view. So by drawing around this way, you can see definitely the exterior shows up much better in a brick wall You can see how the exterior goes out. Well, that's the same thing with the curtain walls. I would go through and draw them in the direction I want them to have their outside face to. And that makes a difference in some of them, especially. Some not so much, but it does for most. So just there's your rule of thumb on drawing your walls. I'm gonna go back. I even got rid of the grids. We're good with that. So back to, I can close you. I can close you. Back to here. What else were we discussing? Okay. Yeah, beginning, end, and center. You do that for both the beginning and the end. You can also put an angle on them as an instant parameter. These all show up in the instant parameters. And there's this little grid thing that will show up on them also. And you can use that. If I'm in a 3D view, let's go in here and pick on this guy. Oh, come on, give me the wall. Give me the wall. And see this little thing here. Well, when I pick on it, I see this, but when I pick on this, it changes so that I'm only working with the same things that I saw a minute ago, but I can go in there and I can change these. And yeah, I can put an angle on it. Watch out. Warped that big time. And I'm going to show you more about doing some angles and stuff and changing panels and things around in one of the examples that I've got for you. But yeah, I just want to make sure that you're aware that you also have, because if I'm talking about curtain walls and you pick a curtain wall, she didn't talk about that little rascal. Well, that little rascal does just that. Same thing that I can get right here by just picking on a curtain wall. It is an instant parameter for it. Okay, what else? Added an angle. You can offset, and offset starts the grid. That would be this option right here on the bottom. Come back. You can offset the grid from the beginning point or the bottom for horizontal and vertical. And that's what that would do. So if you put the offset, it's going to relate to whatever this is setting to for beginning or the bottom. It's going to offset it that far. So let's just pop over and do it.
Hey, Danya.
I'm gonna pick, yes.
Christina asked, will you be demonstrating corner frames?
Yes.
There you go, Christina.
Yes. I see your emoticons, clappings and hearts. I love it. So if I go to set this offset, maybe I'll set this for 2 feet. It set it off 2 feet. That was on the vertical. If I set it on the bottom, let's just go 2 feet there. You can say start your set there. That just happened to balance that one out. So yeah, let's I'd like to undo everything back to where it was, but okay, so that's on the grids. Now on the mullions, like I said, they only show up on a grid. And if you want to mess with them, you may have to unpin them to modify them. But let's get some really fun stuff. Do you know there's right click options? If you're not right clicking in your software, that was my favorite AutoCAD tip. It was always right click. I don't care what it was. You right click on anything in AutoCAD. You can right click on menus. You click on your tabs, pick something, right click in the middle of your screen, anything. But you also have a lot of right click options that you can do inside of Revit. Somebody just like shock face on this one. Because you can right click to select your mullions and select them. Oh, which option would you like? Let's go play around. This is fun. So I pick on a mullion and I right click and say select mullions. If I do it on grid line, oh, come on, right click. Select mullion, come here, right click. Oh, really? Now where's my select mullions? Okay, this is gonna make me nuts. Select mullions. If I do on grid line, see, it came across all the way across there. Now, if I do it and no, give me my right click mullions, select mullions. On vertical grid lines, selects all of them like that, except for the border. This only gets on the interiors. So I could also right click, select mullions on the horizontals. Did I get the one that said across grid line? Gets the same ones in there. Man, if you haven't right clicked on these are great. Right clicked inner mullions. Right click. Border mullions or mullions on host. That gets all of them. I didn't want to do border. Border is just the easy one. But so I can go here and I can say select on horizontal grids. Now let's do another right click on here and let's go down from the select modes to the joint options. Make continuous or break it join. So let's break them. So you can get all your mullions at once. You know how you used to do that little go in here and go this one. Let's go get this one because then we can do both of them. Oh my word. No, right click. Come on, give me my mullion menu. Right click, select mullions, horizontal grid, right click, joint condition, make continuous. If that's not something beautiful, I don't know what is.
Hey, Danya.
Yes.
Sean had he posted his question in the chat. It might be related to what you just hit there. Is there a way to skew an intermediate mullion while keeping other portions of the frame vertical?
I'll show him that later.
Okay.
I got an example that is whacked out with stuff. Yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm going to show you how to just like really get in there and yeah, we're going to do that. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. Oh yeah, I did the joint conditions. But yeah, and several of you did some clapping, did some emoticons letting me know that was something you probably didn't use. So when you also have something in the textual menu that comes up. So if I select mullions just on this grid line, I do have where I can make it continuous, break it up there also, but that's just the same thing as doing a right click joint condition. So yeah, I thought those were some of the neatest things when I'm going through here and it's like, well, what can you do? Well, right click. Oh, lovely. Let's get all of that. Because just picking those little individual pieces like those, oh, tedious. Okay, more on mullions. Mullions gets 2 pages. When you have a rectangular option for non-dimensional profiles, I pulled this example. I don't have this example. I just pulled it, but you can set these up. So if you got something rectangular, you can put it to one side or the other. You can tell this is a metric version of something that came up. You can also get its thickness. You can also get its offset. Offset's how far it's going to be off of the off of the line to get the center of that. Most people are going to use mullion shapes as opposed to just a rectangular option like that. You move the grids, not the mullions. So if you want your mullion to move, you're going to have to move your grid. Now, who wanted the corner mullion? You're going to love this one because this one is something I use in my class. Hey, there's a party going on. I see a emoticon with a party going on. Let's go to my floor plan. I have set it up right here. So I've got the 2 walls that have come together and I'll show you in 3D. I just put these 2 corners and they've come together and here's where the 2 mullions would be, where you turn the corner, you got the 2 mullions and here's what you want. So let's make this really simple. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to select this mullion. I'm going to use the right click option to select mullion on grid line. Now I can look down here and see that I've got 3 pieces selected, not just the one, because when you're looking at it in plan view, remember you're only seeing from the cut plane down. You want to get all of them on that whole thing. And then I'm just going to hit the delete key. No, really, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to unpin it. And then I'm going to delete it. And then I can delete it. And then I want to pick on this guy. And I'm going to right click and select mullions on grid line. And I'm going to unpin them, and then I'm going to change it to my 5x5 quad corner. And then when I look in my 3D view, bada boom, bada bing. Now you can also go in here and say, well, actually that should be solid all the way up. So tab, pick one of these and select mullions on grid line. And I can make continuous. I'm going to have a little trouble with this one right here because I may have to pull that back out. So that case may be where you want the wall to come back out and stop here. Seriously, going to get me every time. But that's how you can go through and get this. Going to get me every time. Anybody know how to join those? This is what happens when I do something I didn't practice it.
And it's funny, you said that right as Derek typed, is there a join command?
No. Thanks for playing. Okay, this will be one I will be putting in. I will, if I find out how to do this, I will, because it's the middle one. The bottom one seems to be fine. It's just the ones in the middle that are not working with it. So I will be, this could be a new blog post. If you've been on any of these before with me, you know that if I define something and it doesn't work, I will figure it out and put it in the chat for this community conversation. And then you'll probably see it in one of my blog posts on Community Voices coming up real soon. But yeah, I will figure that one out. Of course, I look here. It's oh yeah, it's beautiful. We'll get it. We'll get it. Okay. So there's the join, and you can preset your join conditions if you want to by setting them in your set the conditions in your template so that you have them the way you want to. Most people should go ahead and do that in the template anyway. I was on a panel yesterday talking about anything anybody wanted to ask about Revit, and one of the things that I asked is how do you keep it from being preset? How do you get rid of the presets in Revit? I'm like, well, you set your own template. So if you set your own template, you can set these things the way you want to, and then you don't have to do them every time. All right, panels. You're probably going to have to unpin them if you want to modify them. Most of the panels that come in by default are going to be a glazed panel. And we do have some right-click options. Look at this. I love it. These are the fun stuff. So yeah, if I want to tab in here and pick a panel, right-click, select panels on vertical or horizontal or panels on the host. So you want all of them or you want, let's just go with the horizontal ones across through here. And if I unpin them, I can see that they're a glazed panel, and I can change them to the options that we have. I've got some glazed with different colors, but I also have an empty panel. I have a solid panel. So if you want a spandrel panel, you've got that, an empty panel. And then we'll talk about this later. You can also change out any of these to a wall. And we're going to be doing that also. I'm going to change some panels to walls and stuff, or show you an example of one. So you could change all these at once and change them to, let's scroll down to the solid panel. So in 3D, let's show it out a little bit. Just give me some color. And there you see panels that I have changed out. But you can change them out to any type of panel, but being able to select them like that just makes things so much easier than going in and try to do a window around them and filter out just the panels and stuff. Yeah, it's just so much easier when you get those right-click things going. And some of you are going, I wish I had done this last week.
Tanya, Tim is asking, can you pull curtain walls into a window legend?
No, thanks for playing. You can't make it a window. You could change it out to a wall panel and then put a window in that wall and then have that window schedule. Yeah, you could do that. And I'm going to do something with panels that I turn into a wall, and you can see I can just add doors and anything to it. So you could do that if you made the panel, the window, the same size as the panel, then it could take yeah. I'm not going to try that one on the fly because I'm wondering if it takes over the entire wall, if the wall freaks out. But you can't put a wall in there, and I know you can put a window in a wall, so this one we get around it. You try that. All right. I know y'all are gonna love some of these samples I've got. They're gonna be some great ones. So there's your right-click options, and no contextual menu options showed up on this one. The panel types have 3 critical settings. They have an offset, which sets them off from the center of the wall line. They have their material and their thickness. Their thickness is based off the center of the panel. Now, panels can be a curtain panel, which includes doors. They can be walls, or they can be an empty panel also. Let me think. Was there something else? No, I think that's about it for there till we get to the examples. Okay. Embedding into another wall. The storefront has an automatic setting to embed it into another wall. Curtain wall, it can be embedded. There is a checkbox. We're going to look at that right now. I have gone in and placed in my in this wall. This was a storefront. These are the 3 walls that I've had in plan view. I just took these 3 walls and I moved them back here into this wall, the basic brick and CMU metal stud. Yeah, everybody knows that one. So I basically moved them back in there. As you see, the storefront automatically just cuts itself. But to get okay, I'm going to use my filter because I know that it has selected 2 objects in there. And what is it selected was the curtain wall and the panel. So I'm going to unselect the curtain panel. And now I've only got the wall selected. And if I want to edit its type, I can click the automatically embed and have it automatically embedded. I also have in here, excuse me, and I'm definitely going to filter this out because I have, yeah, 229. So I don't want to take out the grids and the panels and just have the wall. But is exterior glazing something that should be embedded in a wall? Probably not. That's not the purpose of exterior glazing. Yes, you can. You can actually use it just like you would a curtain wall or a storefront, but its purpose was to be set up so that you had the option for exterior glazing. So I'm not going to embed it. That's not what I feel the purpose is of that. That would be a curtain wall instead. So then you could just change it to a storefront or a curtain wall. So that's my take on what exterior glazing should be used for, is not for embedding. Yeah, so exterior glazing probably shouldn't do it. All right, are we ready to have some fun now? Let's go to some examples. I did a rail and put a gate in it using, yeah, I love these emoji things. These are so much fun. So I'm going to close down some of this. And I'm going to go to this one right here. Yeah, okay, fine. So here I've got, this is made of a curtain wall, and I used it to make a rail. And I've seen this done, especially if you want glass panels. I decided to do something without panels in it. So you can see it is a curtain wall. If I do a window around it and filter, you will see I have 21 panels, grids, mullions, but most of my panels are empty panels. So right in here, you can see it highlighting these. Those are empty panels. So if yeah, it's an empty panel. Here, let me turn shadows on so you can see where the shadows come through it. It's empty. So even though you don't have anything there, you can't delete it. You can just make it an empty panel. Well, you shouldn't delete it, but anyway. And I used rectangular. I didn't use circular because the horizontals would come up and butt into the edge of the round post. You can't make a mesh. If I figure this one out, fix that end post on this, I'll be blogging about this. You'll hear about this later. And then this is, let me tab through. This is the panel that is a gate. And when you go here to level 1, you can see that it's just a quick way to make a gate in a rail. Let's just make the rail a curtain wall instead of a rail. So that's one example. And let's go back to here. Next, you can have it as a roof. Now, I pulled several manufacturers examples because why should I recreate these things if I found some neat stuff out there? So this one is going to be one of the manufacturers examples. So I'm done with gate. Nope. And let's go to this one. And this one is definitely a metric. I can't even pronounce that, but they're showing these as roofs in here. And I can provide these examples. And let me just go to 3D view. It's always the best. And rock this around a bit. So you see, we do have a little bit of a slope going on these. And yeah, it's just a curtain wall. You can put a curtain wall on any edge, any face. We'll do that too. So yeah, these are just posts down here. They've got these families. This is SCHEUs or UEC. Oh yeah, don't let the dyslexic read that to you. There's just one way of doing these, and it's just a matter of, same thing as panels and stuff. And your mullions, your grids, and your panels. So that one's a little bit of a fun one. And I'm going to touch on some of these and just go through them. And some of them we're going to play with a little bit more because I'm looking at the time and I want to be sure to cover these. Next, I found wood timber. And considering I live in a log house and I've got a big curtain wall up front, I wanted to go back to this type of thing. And this one I found, I'm providing links to these too. This one showed some wood timbers that were already built in there for you. And you can see how easy this would be done. And they've got plans and everything. This one is, where's the name of this? Yeah, you can see all kinds of the credits and stuff here, but I'm going to provide this link also. But it shows, they got their details and everything in here. It's really neat. So don't limit yourself to, if you go to building, if you're doing a lot of wood construction, go for it. Why not? Next would be louvers. This one's an easy one. So you would go into no panels, and you just have all of these would be mullions. Oh, that's it. I've got the empty panel. Of course I did. Easiest way to look at this is let's go to an east view. And you can see where I picked panels, so unselect that. And let's just make this wireframe. So there you go. There's your mullions. And all it is a shape and extrusion. So easy way to make louvered panels is by doing it with a curtain wall. Okay. Next. All right, here's the one you've been waiting on. One of the ones you've been waiting on. Spider exterior glazing. I've got that one already loaded into my project. No, you're cute, but I'll just let you go. So let's go to this guy and tab, right click, select panels, all the panels on the host. And let's pick our spider clip curtain panel. Boom. Exterior glazing elevation. And you can see how the panels have been changed in here. But let's also take a look at that little rascal. This should be him here. Pardon me. The one thing about spider panels that you really ought to know is the you only build 1/4 of the spider on each corner, so that when the corners meet together, excuse me, that the posts that would be here, they all line up on top of each other, giving you that spider effect that you see when you zoom in here. And I'm going to be sending out the link to how to get to this guy right here. Also know with these, I added a reference plane back here because it didn't have one. You also want to know what your depth is, because you may want to make sure that you offset. Remember the 3 things about a panel? They have a offset, a thickness, and a material. So this one you may want to offset whatever your thickness is so that you have it offset from your structural members that it's going to be attaching to. But these, you just need a good example to build from. Someone may have this wiring system in here, this cabling system rather, and someone may just have the little spider on them. You see the little spider itself used a lot when you see them in rails. Some people even use a spider system and build a rail out of a regular stair rail, or yeah, a rail system. So there you go. You love the spider? I think he looks good. And of
I'm
course,
not a big fan of spiders.
Not a big fan of spiders. You and Ron Weasley. Okay. So there's a spider system that I found and thought it was kind of a fun thing to show off. Next, I found a great example. Don't limit yourself. A revolving door. Why not? It doesn't have to be flat, does it? So that should be this right here. Yeah, I found a revolving door. I'm definitely putting this link in because this is nothing more than a panel. I mean, yep, see, curtain panel. That's all it is. And you can just replace the curtain panel. Somebody's mind's blown. Whoa, neat, huh? And this example will be going into the links. And now I know I'm going through some of these a little quick because I want to make sure we have get through all the examples, because that's what the fun stuff is. Manufacturer sites. I got a couple manufacturer sites that had some really neat panels that I would not want to build one of them at least. So this is Conair, and they left the shadows on so that you could see it and stuff, but it's nice to go in and look at what other companies are doing, and especially if you're going to be working with them. And here is a typical mullion shape that we see all the time. But yeah, if you're researching your manufacturers, see if they've got it already built instead of having to build it yourself. That's Conair. Next, this one is so cool. Now that's a curtain panel. This is an adaptive panel. I have not myself done any adaptive panels. But this one, yeah, somebody's mind blown with that one. Let's go ahead and edit this family. You can edit curtain wall panels that have been built and loaded in. You cannot edit the default curtain wall panels that are the curtain wall panel that is in Revit. It's a system family. But here's an adaptive panel, and I looked at this and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to do that. There's a lot in there. And you'll get the link to this one also. But yeah, that one is like, that's got some really cool stuff. Yeah, so I'll send you the link to this one. Just, I don't want you to be limited on some of the things that we do. Let's see what's next. Tilt up walls. I actually just built this one for one of our teams in at Nelson Worldwide. Does industrial, and they do a lot of warehousings, and they do tilt up walls. So this is actually one that I built. And this is where I'm going to show you. You got a lot of things you can do. So here's some tilt up walls. This is a curtain wall. Okay, come on, give me. Let me pull this one off of there. No, I didn't mean to do that. Let me do the other one. So what all have I got? I don't want the panels. Yep, see, it's a panel. It's a wall. It's a panel. It's a wall. This curtain wall has got where they have pulled down some of the wall links. They've pushed up some of the wall links. And because it's walls, you can just add a door to it. And see, they've even added some of their reveals. Come on, let me have me get that reveal. Oh, come on, give me the reveal tab. And with the reveal, you can add and remove walls, so you can even go to the next one. Oh, come on. I gotta hit the panel, not the wall. So you can even add and remove them along through there on these horizontal grids of horizontal reveals. This is one thing about it. When we go into plan view, the mullion is created to be a void in between the panels. Now it's got, I was trying to find one that didn't have a, well, it's here. And you can see how it was drawn. It does not cut the corners. Mullions we want to cut straight through. So this was done with line work in a masking region to show what it is. But you can see when I highlight it, you can see it goes straight through. The corners of those walls are not cut off by the mullion just because he gave it a shape. So it doesn't create a void. And if I come in here and look, I can see, I can see the mullion has the shape, but let me quit selecting that. But the panel does not cut off. And these guys are going, they build buildings that are 500 feet long. They're not, if they're going to do any renderings, you're not going to see that. You're not going to be looking that close at it. So they're fine with this. So I could get the curve on the back and I could get an angle look, but it looks right in plan. It looks right in elevation because in elevation, you see it straight on. So if we go to the south. And you can see they go in and they look like they've got the mitered corner on them. And the only thing we did was take and not the grid line. Nope. Curtain panel. And he's got his walls. This is a 9¼ inch thick concrete wall, tilt up. Neat, huh? Those guys have been trying to do walls and trying to keep them from joining when they got close together and stuff. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was a hero that day. So yeah, the tilt up walls, they were something else. That's really a nice little thing to do. Let's see, back over here. After tilt up walls, oh, here you go. I know some of y'all been waiting for a massing shape wrap. We're just gonna free form it and go with it. Oh, looking at the time. Okay. No, I don't want to save it. He's good. So let's go to this guy. I've got the link to a video on how to do this. This is a mask that I've already put in here. I drew 2 lines. I drew 1 line for a mask and then copied and pasted it up to the next level and then tweaked it a little bit. And it's all shown in the video that I'm going to put the link on. But what I want to do is I've got a mask here, and now I can go in and put a curtain system on it on here, and it's going to go, oh, come on, create system. Yuck. Yuck. Okay, system's created. Ugh. Now let's get hold of the, no, I don't want the grid line. I want the find crossing window filter. I think we need to play with this one a little bit more. The curtain system, not a curtain wall, it's a curtain system at this point. And let's edit its type. Did I save it? No, I didn't save it. So let's just duplicate a type and make it 2 by 2. And hit that. Did I tell it to change, or did I just create it? I did. Okay. You got to edit the dimensions. 2, 2, boom. I'm getting so excited to show you the next one. Yeah. So see when I got, so yeah, you can, what shape do you want a curtain wall? We can do any shape. And then again, you can go and you add your mullions and stuff on it, but I'm looking at 5 more minutes and I have got a dandy. I'm ending on wall decor. Just a little something, or you could make this window or something if you want, but some of them said something about wall decor, and they use it with different materials and stuff to put some fancy schmancy wall decor on. And I decided to play around with it with glass. So this could be like a stained glass type thing. Are you? Come on. Revit's not letting me do anything. No. And I just lost my work spot. Give it a second. It's going to come back. Oh, man, the most exciting one. Guys, hang around, please.
Technology.
Oh, that rascal. There. What do you think,
Whoa.
guys? How was that for an exciting reveal? Yeah. So the fun with this is I started with a curtain wall. And oh, parties going on. Mind's blown. Love the emoticons. So I started with a curtain wall. Now, one thing you can do with a curtain wall is you can go in here and, okay, wait a minute. Let's do that again. Here's a curtain wall. But if I go in here, I can tab, oh, I got another curtain wall. As you can see, this is probably a panel that I turned into a curtain wall inside a curtain wall. And in this panel, I rocked it down with 65-degree angles and 25-degree angles on my system here. So I told you could change the angles, you can. And then I went in and individually picked the panels inside that curtain walls, that panel, the curtain wall that was a panel, I picked its panel. There we go. And kept changing colors. So it would be as easy as going in here and taking, I want to get, let me see if I can do this right here. Pick on this filter. Give me that panel. So it'd just be a matter of taking that panel, instead of it being glazed blue, I could turn it into a curtain wall. And now it's a curtain wall in itself. And then let's give it some mullions at 50 degrees and 30 something. And then I could put some grid lines on. So under architecture, a grid. Depends on which way it's wanting to go. And all I did was just start playing around with these things, and then just start changing the panels. So, and then I just made a little mullion in there that was just a little, well, let's go to the edge. It shows better on the edge. I just made a little rounded brass thing in here, made it kind of thin, and boom. Get creative. You're not limited to rectangles. So yeah, let me get that back to what it was. So what do you think, guys? We got any comments or questions now? I know we're coming up on the top of the hour. Yay! This was some fun stuff. And all right, let me go back over here. The other wall decor. Oh, the wild brick pattern. I'm not
Yes,
done.
do not skip this one.
Oh, yes, I almost forgot. I actually contacted the guy about this. This is the wild brick pattern, and this was done at AU. I will be giving you this link. But to show you exactly what he did, let me go to here. Now, how is that for some curtain panel options? These are curtain panels that have random brick patterns, and he did it with curtain wall panels or curtain panels, and he did it with Dynamo for randomizing it and stuff. This is one of the wildest things I've seen. So I will be sending you the link that will show you. It will go to his AU site, the AU class, where you can watch his video. You can look at the presentation handout that in the handout, so you can see his PowerPoint. His handout is 94 pages, and this is on page 45 of 45. But that was one of the neatest things that I had seen. Now, let's go finish up with, okay, the spider clips, the manufacturing sites. The BIM Object is a place I found some things. It's also a good place to go to. The massing video where I did that, and the wild brick curtain wall. That's where I'm going to put that. These are the ones I'm going to put up there for you. Q&A, anything? I hope you loved every one of those curtain walls, because those were just fun stuff. So, and
Pretty
thank
awesome.
you. Yeah. And thanks for giving me the idea of doing curtain walls. Yeah. Let me know what you want. I'll do anything.
Yeah, I mean, for those that are interested in doing Dynamo to be able to do a curtain wall like that, we have the Dynamo office hours in 1 hour. So that's today. All right, well, let's go to my follow-up slides. Danya, are you going to paste those links into the chat?
Yes. As soon as we get off, I'm going to have my PowerPoint open, and I'm just going to paste them into the chat for the session.
Excellent.
So here's the upcoming sessions. We're going to do hints and hacks on design options, phasings, model what you have to, detail what you can, and what else would you suggest? So that's what was coming up. And here you go.
All right. This will be another one of those slides that we can update. You can go to the Community Conversations page and click the Get Involved, and there's the submission form there. It tells you a lot about what community conversations are and how you can start your own. Next, please.
Okay, I'm reading some of the comments.
Yeah.
Danya, can you host? Yes, that.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to give you some links here as well. This is some of the helpful ways to connect in the Autodesk community, such as the Voices blog, where Danya is an author in there, one of the featured authors of one of four. Well, we have one that converted to an Autodesk employee, so we had the count change. I think stand at 40 authors in different industries. We have the journal, which is the community teams blog for the community, the student group hub, community, of course, join us for the next community conversations, Twitter, all those good things, many different ways to connect with us. And we sure do appreciate you joining us today and your comments and chat. And you know, there's no hard rules. You can put your questions in the chat. I was just trying to find a way to put them in the Q&A, so we just have an archive of all asked and answered questions. But chat is fine. We want to have the interaction. Nobody was bold enough today, Danya, to raise their hand to go on audio.
Yeah.
But that's always there. The emoticons were fun and flowing.
They were cracking me up. It's encouraging too. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Catch you
next time. And we'll also put, Danya, we can put your links also on the event page, and I can include those with the recording on the YouTube link. So
fantastic.
thank you, everybody.
This was a blast.